talk about Kentucky. A lot of people know it as maybe the bluegrass state or the tobacco production, which are both very true, but Kentucky is so much more than that. And I'm not just saying that because I live in Kentucky, but because it's true. If you ever just come to Kentucky, you don't know what to do, I have a huge list of things and kind of reviews. So attractions, if you come in like October and stuff like that, USS Nightmare, it's on the Ohio River. It's pretty scary sometimes. Other times it's really fun, and although the line is ridiculously long every night, and so worth it. It really is. Newport on the Levee, it's literally right next to Newport Aquarium. But Newport on the Levee, it's got a lot of attractions just within there. It's got a movie theater, it's got Barnes and Nobles, it's got bars, little shops. It's actually a really fun place to hang out. A lot of teenagers go there, but it's most definitely worth it. Kentucky's tradition is actually really deep and rich. A lot of times, northern Kentucky, their tradition gets mixed in with Cincinnati's tradition because they're so close together. Then again, different parts of Kentucky get mixed in with like everything. But when you really just single out Kentucky, you find out there's just so much more than like, all this craziness. I mean, we are really big when it comes to horse racing. Like, the Kentucky Derby, literally, when that comes around, Kentucky just kind of goes crazy. But the Kentucky Derby and horse racing is a really big deal. Like, in a way, it kind of shapes part of Kentucky. The Kentucky Derby comes around, you see like women and these like really fancy or really ridiculous hats. Everyone watches it. I mean, you literally sit by the TV and just wait. When the Kentucky song starts to play, it's like all of Kentucky is silent. And that's really cool, just to be able to say, this is my home. And then all hell breaks loose when the race starts. And you bet on which horse is going to win. And that, I think, is the only time it's acceptable to bet, because it's always been there. I mean, we've had the Derby since 1783. So, or like the very first horse race. Like, famous people that live in Kentucky or are from Kentucky would be Abraham Lincoln, James Bowie, he made the Bowie knife, Daniel Boone, he lived here. Some really big famous people that like now at our age would be Jennifer Lawrence, Johnny Depp, Josh Hutcherson, George Clooney, Billy Ray Cyrus. I mean, they were born here. Restaurants that we are known for would be Dixie Chili, KFC, Papa John's, Snappy Tomatoes. I mean, there are probably 1,000 more, but I just picked out a few that I knew. Our biggest population would be in Louisville. My population, like where I live, is around like 42,000 people, and that was in 2009. I'm surprised I remembered that. Woohoo. Some mispronunciations that people say would be it's Louisville, not Louisville, or Louisville. I mean, I don't get too mad when somebody goes Louisville, but when someone says Louisville, I give them this look. And I'm not even joking. Like, Louisville is acceptable. Sometimes it gets really annoying, but it's Louisville. Louisville. I've heard our capital is Frankfurt, not Frankfort. I had somebody down at Girl Scout camp call it Frankfort, and I was just like, what are you talking about? I don't know what Frankfort is. I'm like, are you trying to say Frankfurt? And she's like, no, Frankfort. And I was like, there's no such place as Frankfort in Kentucky. Port, not Newport. I've actually heard people call it Newport. And that actually really does bug me because there is a T there. The T is not silent. And it bugs me just because I know Newport like the back of my hand. So, you know, that's like my little territory. We're Kentuckians, not like people from Kentucky. I really hope you guys liked just a dab on Kentucky. For more information, click the links below. You'll learn a lot. Yeah.